Overcoming lust is one of the most challenging improvements these days, yet one of the most beneficial things to put your efforts in. If you think it's going to be hard or impossible in your case, or you don't believe it would improve your life in any manner, watch this video. It will completely change your mind. Conquering lust starts to be more and more generic in our times, and it isn't big surprise. We just realize that constant exposition to sexual content makes us dumb, weak, often incapable of building fulfilling relationship with another person in the long run. Doing so is one of the deepest desires in our human nature. That's why, as a result, any incapabilities on this important aspect of our lives makes us feel empty and worthless. Some of you may find it difficult to comprehend, but it's not possible to feel content by just consuming more and more content, or bodies of others. Surely, it will feed your ego and satisfy animal drive, but never lead to any greater satisfaction. Instead, those little blinks of relief are all what you can get. For worse, you will end up feeling guilt or even shameful. We cannot forge anything greater by just falling for our lust, but rather by acting in spite of the fact that it appear in us, never allowing it to blind us for things that truly matter. You can achieve it by just recognizing each blinks in your mind and simply naming them, "That was lust." When you do that, it will make you watchful for its incoming relapses and able to act despite it or against it, depending on situation in which it got induced. Easier said than done. But before you step into this warfare, I want you to be equipped with some really sharp weapons. If you master them all, you are destined to win it. So use them properly in order to defeat lust for once and all from your life. The last one may be most powerful in your current conditions. Let's get started. Number 1, make it demonic. Lust is literally demonic. Yes, when I say it, I really mean it, because I have faced it myself. But even if you don't believe in demons, I still encourage you to reframe your lust as one, because it will turn something untouchable and ephemeral into real opponent that you will have to face every day. Every time, when dirty thoughts will appear in your mind, it will turn into challenge mode. It will no longer be just a random thought, but rather actual opponent, whose breath can be felt on your shoulder and make the whole fight more purposeful for you. You will feel disgusted by the thought you could lose it, and this will bring you much more strength to win every battle with him. Every little victory will make you feel stronger and more confident. With time, his spiritual entity that had control over your life will be pushed aside completely, and you will no longer recognize your old self that were his full-time servant. When you reach to that point, I promise you, it will be a great event. You will feel your soul became fine and pure like never before after years of committing into sinning almost every time. You will realize that you were under control of something that wasn't you and treated it as an integral part of you. Some of you could even frame it as a part of their personal identity. After you free yourself from its destructive influence over your life, it will be pissed of losing its generous influence over your soul, and that's exactly what you want. Number 2, understand truly and deeply that every time you commit to your lust, you act against God's design. God told us in detail how relationship between male and female should look like, and in times where fruitful relationships are scarce, we should follow his guidelines harder than ever, struggling to prove him that all of this mess we witness everywhere happens a part of us in order to access his blessing over our lives. You see, we got to live in times when sex initially meant to be something beautiful, holy seal of marriage, reserved only for couples that are committed to be together for better or worse, has been profanated, becoming commodity available on every corner of your city or every dark nook of internet space. But we are still left with the choice to make our visits in places where the sin will be most likely committed by us, or disregard and avoid them, retaining our consciousness, keeping our guard, remaining aware of the destructive influence it has on us, and how it's all based on our procreational instinct. Becoming fully aware of this huge difference between how God designed the male and female to become one and multiply together, and how dark force can be used to abuse on our primal instincts in order to corrupt this world as much as possible, will make you feel awful every time when your thoughts are about to go abroad, and this feeling will successfully stop them. In fact, it is designed to do so. It may sound weird to you, but shame is a gift from God. He made us feel it every time, when we do bad for us or our beloved. So keep in mind that every time it appears in your hearth, it's for a reason that you committed into something you wouldn't if you remained conscious. It was bad, but by shame you gain the opportunity to reflect on you, and next time you go through the same type of hurdle, it will be easier to recognize that you are about to commit to a sin just in time to prevent it. You just have to realize that those dark forces are meant to reduce you into their tool, and the whole process of degradation accelerates with each new soul being connected to this inhuman machine. Thankfully, you are watching this video, so you have an opportunity to choose if you want to remain one of them. So decide now, because if you won't, the side on which you will end up is foregone. It can be changed only by your conscious choice and putting conscious effort later in your actions. Ask yourself, do you want to participate in this evil process of disintegration, or you choose life, of which God and your ancestors could be proud of? The faster you'll recognize that other choice isn't your choice, but rather default of times we're in, the better for you. We can treat sex as it were something common and degrade ourselves to animal life experience. But instead, we should aim for achieving something greater through it. Number 3. Lust can be conquered like any other weakness of your body. Lust is an indication of weak body in the same way as atrophy or obesity. And likewise, we can train our muscles to grow bigger and stronger. We can train our body by deliberately disregarding on our animal instincts instead of acting upon them right away. Even a couple minutes of delaying to gratify them will distinguish you from your older version that would just fall limply into what body demands from you at the moment. If you are starting from a point where you are very meek in this manner, that may be a good way to begin with. I encourage you to commit into fasting, as it's meant to cure your body from any weakness. I will do a detailed video about all of its benefits in the near future. In a regard of lustful thoughts about women, fasting means ignoring women completely, yet without any resentment towards them. You have to stop entertaining all the thoughts circled around getting laid, or coupling with them, quenching all the thirsts that insists inside of you. If you are young and used to feeding all of those thoughts whenever they appear in your mind, it's going to be very hard at the beginning. But the longer and stricter you persist, all the desperation and craving of getting what you instinctively want from them will start to diminish. You will become more open to experience them fully, not to just satisfy your own needs and fantasies by using them. The more you progress, the less your body will ask you to satisfy its primal needs, and with time, you will gain full control over it. Start today by trying to push away every lustful thought that appear in your mind as hard as you can, and with time you will be surprised with how little effort you can make a progress. As you silence your lust, it will become easy to recognize it in others. You see, when you become better at disregarding your own body, it will make you more capable in caring for others. As a side effect, you will be more empathetic, which will naturally lead you into building fulfilling relationship based on mutual interests. Doing so will make you feel useful and content instead of reducing others to resources meant to just satisfy your current needs. When you no longer focus on what you want from them, or rather what your body wants from them, you will be able to view them for who they truly are. Number 4, treat it as an opportunity to become God's warrior and God's victor. Every time you feel lured or lusted into something, you have to know that you are tested by God. If there were no trials, we would have no opportunity to prove and raise in our virtue. With every battle you win, you will become stronger and more resilient. They will lead you to discover more and more effective tactics, make you watchful about everything thrown at you by today's world, and it will learn you a lot about yourself. There also may be times when you fall, but in the beginning, it's more about maintaining your consciousness, because this alone makes a huge difference with your attitude. Remember, you are on war now. Wars require full dedication and commitment, but also humility in face of defeat. If you want to grow as a warrior, you should learn something from each of your defeats instead of pushing them into oblivion. There is even a saying that God prefers humble defeat over pride victory. Just make sure that after each fall you shake off the dust and get to the fight again and again and again. Every one of them means that God wants you to rise stronger with Him and in Him. Now, you are fully equipped and ready to face the challenge. Start right away with no excuses. Never dare to test God's patience. It's immense. But why would you put yourself in a situation when you have to regret a larger part of your life than it's necessary? After you've watched the material, you have everything to engage into battle, and more than enough reasons to do so. Whenever you fall, take all credits to assure staying responsible for all your actions. When you do good, you do so after God's permission, so don't forget to be thankful for His favor. Don't make Him remind you of that fact. I don't know any man that liked to lose his battles. As you may expect, I'm one of them, because I've spent some time on those myself. And I encourage you to join this war by hitting a subscribe button no matter what your current beliefs are. We already know that times will get tougher, so every sword may decide the victory. And my mission is to equip properly anyone that wants to raise in his values and virtues, or struggles to recover them from his current woe reality. Even if just one person will benefit from this video, I am grateful that I could share it here. Everything our Lord gives us is not just enough, but rather perfect, as He knows at best what we really need, or what will be good for us. If you are that one, you're welcome. It might be just the right moment for you to discuss and rediscover topics of great importance in our lives. See you soon.